Hey everyone, welcome back to our APIGURU channel. For those of you who are new here, I'm Damien Thornhill. On this channel we share everything you need to know about APIs. Today we will explore the different API operating models and their required roles and their responsibilities for API development. Let's get started. Let's begin by exploring the digital value chain and the role of the API team within the overall process. Applications and digital experiences are the primary channels consumers use to access data and services, while APIs enable these applications to connect seamlessly with backend systems. The API team plays a crucial role in developing APIs that enable developers to create apps and new digital experiences. Let's start by exploring the key roles of the API team, which is responsible for producing APIs that support new apps and digital experiences. Successful API teams typically include the API program lead, API product owner, API architect, and API developer. In addition to these core roles, API teams may include an API quality assurance lead, an API evangelist, and an API Agile lead. Let's take a closer look at each of these roles. The API program lead sets the API platform's vision and strategy. The program lead focuses on the value of the designed APIs and the value the API platform provides to the ecosystem of consumers and providers. The API product owner is responsible for understanding customer needs and providing clear requirements for what data is needed and how this needs to be presented. The API architect owns the solution architecture for the API platform. They create API specification designs, help determine and maintain standards, and enforce RESTful API principles, security principles, and regulatory requirements through governance. The API developer is responsible for developing APIs that adhere to the API specifications and standards developed for the API platform. They are willing to challenge designs when efficiencies or errors are found to ensure the best delivered product. Before moving forward, they ensure the code is tested with pre-developed test scripts. The API QA engineer is responsible for developing test scripts for the user stories and putting them into a CI tool for the developers and other team members to use. The API Evangelist is responsible for building relationships with business units and developers to promote the adoption of APIs as core ingredients in B2B, B2C, B2E, and B2D. The API Evangelist is part community manager, part marketing manager, and part product manager. The API Agile lead is responsible for delivering new features, fixes, and releases to production. This role is immersed in Agile, Scrum methods and can coach like a Scrum Master, but he is responsible for managing and leading the team to remove blockers and mitigate risks and dependencies. What might this look like in an organization? In this example, C-level leadership or an executive sponsor drives the need for an API-first initiative. This mandate provides the foundation and funding necessary to support the API program. The initial team could include a program lead who collaborates with an API product owner, API architect, API developers, an API Agile lead, and an API evangelist. In some organizations, this structure expands to include alignment with a shared services group that supports activities such as DevOps, CI/CD, monitoring, analytics, and security. Additionally, specific lines of business may have their teams dedicated to building apps, complete with their app product owner, app developers, and app architects. These teams rely on the APIs developed by the API team, ensuring seamless integration and collaboration across the organization. In larger enterprises, the API program may be centralized around an enablement team that includes the API program lead, API architect, and API evangelist. This team sets the strategy and provides guidance, while individual lines of business take responsibility for their API development. Each line of business typically has its own API product owner and development roles, allowing for tailored solutions that align with specific business needs. As a result, multiple lines of business may emerge, each with unique API requirements. However, they continue to be supported, enabled, and governed by a centralized Center of Enablement or API program team, ensuring consistency and alignment across the organization. The complete framework would encompass shared services that manage tools and provide support across all API teams, facilitating collaboration and efficiency throughout the organization. Let's take a closer look at the Center of Enablement. First, let's discuss teaching and consulting. The primary goal of the COE is to support API delivery teams. This includes providing training and assistance during onboarding as teams launch their first APIs. The COE works closely with these teams to interpret best practices tailored to their unique requirements. They offer consultative advice and can embed an API expert within the team during those critical early stages. In some cases, the COE can build APIs as a service offering. However, it's important to remember that teams should ideally own their API lifecycles from design to sunset. Next, we have gatekeeping. The SOI ensures that certain standards are met and enforces requirements as API delivery teams begin their journey. During the early phases of the program, the COI will implement more processes to ensure a smooth transition toward a fully operational API culture. Over time, many of these controls will shift to automated systems, reducing the need for constant approvals. When questions arise about design or interactions with other teams, the COI acts as an impartial arbiter, helping to keep everyone aligned and moving forward. Finally, let's explore networking and refereeing. The COI builds connections between teams, helping them leverage previous work instead of reinventing the wheel. They identify APIs with global appeal and assist in making them enterprise ready. Plus, the SOI promotes successful launches and innovative solutions from API delivery teams, encouraging collaboration and knowledge sharing. The API delivery teams are entirely responsible for building APIs from start to finish, and they may seek advice from the Center of Enablement as needed. Conversely, the Center of Enablement is fully accountable for maintaining and enhancing the developer portal, implementing improvements to the API platform, deploying API changes to production, and upholding the playbook, API standards, and reference implementations or templates. They engage with the API delivery teams to gather insights and identify needs. Additionally, the Center of Enablement may develop platform APIs that can be utilized across various API teams, fostering consistency and collaboration. Let's take a closer look at the API ecosystem operating model. This model encompasses an API platform that includes both a developer portal and an API gateway. The API platform is a crucial facilitator for exchanges between API providers and consumers. The API gateway enhances API providers' efficiency by enabling faster publishing, promoting reusability, establishing clear standards, and allowing for effective issue tracing. Meanwhile, the developer portal supports API consumers by offering easy API discovery, user-friendly interfaces, accurate documentation, self-service options, support resources, and partnership opportunities. With the API platform, the Center of Enablement drives value, adoption, quality, and scalability. They assist various API delivery teams through engagement in several key areas, including strategy and roadmap development, design assistance, onboarding and training, coaching, and program promotion. On the platform side, they provide access management features, maintain the CI/CD pipeline, and offer shared code and tools while enforcing established standards. In terms of operations, the Center of Enablement oversees monitoring, uptime SLAs, maintenance, security, and capacity management, ensuring a robust and reliable API ecosystem. They also define and measure key performance indicators to ensure the API initiatives align with overall business goals. By measuring specific outcomes, they demonstrate how the APIs managed in the API platform contribute to broader objectives. Applying an Agile framework empowers API teams to be more responsive, collaborative, and customer-focused. It facilitates faster delivery, fosters innovation, and promotes a culture of continuous improvement, ultimately leading to more successful API products. Two popular variations of Agile processes are Scrum and Kanban. Scrum features a structured framework with defined roles, ceremonies, and artifacts, making the development cycle familiar and accessible for many teams, especially newly formed ones. Its iterative approach encourages regular feedback and promotes a sense of rhythm in the development process. On the other hand, Kanban is more flexible and emphasizes continuous flow. It relies on managing smaller tasks that are less dependent on one another, allowing teams to prioritize and adapt more fluidly. Teams that have established effective collaboration and can self-manage within an Agile context often find Kanban a better fit, as it allows for more autonomy and responsiveness to changing priorities. In summary, while Scrum offers a more structured approach ideal for new API teams, Kanban provides flexibility that suits teams with solid collaborative dynamics. Each method has strengths, and the choice ultimately depends on the team's needs and working style. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates. Please give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful and let me know what you think or if you have any questions in the comments. Look out for our next video where we'll share best practices for setting up an API security governance model that manages risk while enabling speed.